afternoon. I'm Khaki Walton. Checking on the Arts is made possible by contributing listeners and the Memphis Pink Palace Museum. Runas Youth Ballet presents the third installment of Kristin Bihler'S Enchantments, an evening of two fairy tales. They're doing two performances this Saturday, one at 2 p.m. and the other at 6, and that's being staged at the Buckman Performing and Fine Arts Center at St. Mary's Episcopal School. Kristin Bihler is the artistic director, and she joins me in the studio this afternoon. It's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you again. Glad to be here.
Well, first of all, before we get into the performance, tell everybody about the company if they're not familiar with it.
Runas Youth Ballet is the resident company of the Buckman Performing Arts Center. It's not only exclusive to St. Mary's students. It's open to the public. We teach ages 3 all the way to college students and some adults. So come check it out.
So you've got something that all the students can participate in this Saturday.
We let ages 3 and up perform, which is not always the norm in the city.
Yeah.
So I love to give the kids theater education. So we start very, very young with putting them in shows and performances.
When they learn early how to adapt to the situations and deal with it and how to have stage presence.
Exactly. And it's my thing to have them just know what to do so we don't have to have adults backstage and stuff. So it's fun. I really enjoy teaching the little kids.
So you're doing something that's perfect for little kids. It's a fairy tale that we all know.
Exactly. That was my train of thought with Enchantments, an evening of two fairy tales. You know, the kids love to dance with Snow White or dance with the Little Mermaid or dance with Belle. So it works out perfectly. It's a great mixture for the Russian ballet and my darker side of jazz style because we do 2 pieces.
Right.
So one is a ballet adaptation of a classic fairy tale, and the other is a piece that I write on my own fairy tale.
Yeah. So and that's probably for the older students too?
Yes, that is for the upper division all the way to the advanced program. And it's more my darker side of jazz style.
Right. We're going to talk about that in a second because the music that you're using is really cool. And actually for the Little Mermaid too, because you're using some classical composers that people are familiar with, but also somebody really cool that I just discovered because I didn't know the name. So I Googled it because that's what I do. So you're doing the Little Mermaid, and I guess the way that you're staging it, you're going to take everybody on underwater adventure.
Yes. Yes, I like to, when I create my shows, I like to create an atmosphere. It's very Disney-esque because I grew up on Disney. My father would take me to Disney once or twice a year ever since I was very little. So I have that ingrained in me that I want, my audience to be immersed in the concepts.
Right. So what composers have you chosen to use for this?
Rafe Vaughn Williams, who I discovered. Now, let me tell you, it took me 2 weeks to search for all this music to make it perfect for what I want it to do. So I'm not, up and up on all the classical composers, but I have gotten quite an education.
Oh, good.
So it was really very exciting, this whole process, because I did learn a lot. But Rafe Vaughn Williams and Dvorak and Yoko Shimomura.
That's the name that I didn't know.
She has done all the soundtracks for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
The Disney video games. And I thought that the music made me cry, number one, so that's always good. I like to give my audience goosebumps. But the music is just so enchanting, and it was just so perfect for what I wanted to do on stage.
Well, I read about her because that was a new name for me. So she composes music for video games, and I read that her influences are classical composers like Beethoven and Chopin and Ravel.
Right.
And as talking about emotion, she says that she just looks, when she's trying to get inspired to write music for video games, she looks for things that make her feel emotional, and she puts it all out there on paper.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I do my pieces. So
Wow.
I felt a connection to that composer, and I really wanted to use her music.
Well, it's amazing to look at all of the things that she's done. And I thought it was cool, too, that she said that, a lot of composers sit down in a studio at a keyboard and they compose that way. But she says her ideas come to her when she's just traveling. Like, she's not in the whole sit-down, compose mode.
Exactly.
So it just washes over her, and that's how she gets her inspiration. So that's neat. So a new name, Yoko Shimomura. So that's for The Little Mermaid. And then your new original choreographic work is called Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about it.
Well, for Enchantments each year, my original Fairytales, the audience may know this or they may not, they all connect together. Mm-hmm. So we have sort of like a family tree thing going on there. It takes place in the same city, mm-hmm. Titled Acacia, mm-hmm. which is a word. If you go to Google, I'm not going to tell you what it means, but if you go to Google and if you put that name in there, then there's a hidden message there.
Acacia?
Acacia.
Acacia.
Yes.
Acacia.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's an ongoing saga. So all the characters, have relationships to each other. Mm-hmm. So in the third piece, it does pick up right where it left off, but we have two new characters. My favorite villain ever, Mr. Rogue Ellison. He's artistically challenged. But basically, it's about a girl who looked up to someone for many, many years and idolized someone. Uh-huh. And finally, when she gets a chance to meet this person, she realizes the image in which she created isn't quite reality.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, you cover some different subjects like trust and deception.
Right.
And individuality.
Right.
And I think that's important for the girls that you're teaching.
Yeah, I always like to give good messages.
Yeah.
Whether my pieces are dark or happy, I know a lot of people think all my pieces are dark, but there's always a good message. We got a couple, morals going on here in Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Well, now you chose some really cool music for this too.
Yes, Emancipator.
I don't know Emancipator, but I just read about him.
He is a DJ and music producer based out of Portland, Oregon, mm-hmm. and all the pieces that I do for Enchantments, I use his music and his music only.
Oh, wow.
So, he needs to make more albums. I need to get in touch with him. I think his name is Douglas Appling is his real name.
Right.
So I need to call Douglas, tell him to make more music, or else we're going to run out. But I always use his music, and I search and search and search because he is a DJ, so he does have a lot.
So he samples a lot of things?
Yes, he samples a lot. But it's all instrumental, and I like using instrumental music because, it helps me create a story. Because I don't want to use lyrics and then have the audience be confused about what's being said compared to what's being acted out on stage.
Right. So this is going to be electronic and just so a lot of rhythmic things going on.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you're using some contemporary choreography with this too, I would assume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man, this sounds so interesting. So how are your students taking to it?
Well, I really think that they love doing Enchantments. See, the thing is, we do the Nutcracker in December, and everybody loves that, and that's a beloved tradition. But with Enchantments, they do get to do different things.
Yeah.
They get to mix it up a little bit, and different characters evolve, and it's a very exciting time for them. So I really do think that they like Enchantments. I think the audience likes it as well.
So what about the staging? I know you try to make the staging look really cool.
Well, for the Mermaid, we got some magical things going on. I always say go big or go home, and I have this Disney thing going on. So always in my mind, I try to take it to the stars, and when I can't take it there, then I go down just a little bit to the horizon line. But we have some great stage sets. Stephen Weeks at the Buckman Performing Arts Center has done an amazing job. I love, love, love him. He's actually been my lighting guy since I started choreographing in the city. So I know when I ask Stephen for something, he's gonna pull it out.
Well,
so.
he's great. I mean, he was at GPAC for so long, and I love that he's at St. Mary's now at the Buckman. So yeah, you're in good hands there.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I don't want to give anything away. You just need to come to the show, and you need to see what's going to happen on stage, because it's been quite a task.
Well, she's going to leave the mystery out there. But again, the 2 performances this Saturday. So you can bring the younger ones to see the 2 o'clock matinee, which is perfect.
Yep.
Come back at 6 o'clock for the older kids. And tickets are $25 for both of those performances. It's the 3rd installment of Kristin Bihler'S Enchantments and Evening of 2 Fairytales. They're doing The Little Mermaid and also Kristin's new work, Ghostwriter. To get more information, you can go to stmaryschool.org and get your tickets there. Also, check them out on Facebook, Rudenev Youth Ballet, and their website is rudenefyouthballet.com. Kristin Bihler, the artistic director of Rudenev Youth Ballet, my guest this afternoon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.